we will be discussing at least two topics. These are sociology and science, and second is critique of scientific method. These are two different topics, but whatever I will discuss in today's lecture, it will cover both of them. And whatever views I will give you in today's lecture, you can write them when a question is asked on criticism of scientific method or is sociology is science. You can write those views, and a aspirant of UPSC is expected to mold the answer according to the demand of the question. So the question will can be different, but the answer will remain the same. Okay. So before beginning the lecture of today, I would like to tell you that in today's lecture I will be using various terms, and most of these terms I will explain in this video, but some terms I will explain later. Okay. So I would request you to be patient. If I mention some term and I don't explain it in this video, so be patient as I will explain every term, every concept in my later videos, because it is very difficult to explain each and everything in one video. If I will be trying to do this, then the lecture will become very long, or we will be diverting from the main topic itself. Okay, so I will explain these terms later on. Some of the terms I will mention which will be important for our topic. So let's begin. So first is our question that can be framed from this topic, and in the light of which we will be dealing with today's views of various sociologists or researchers on sociology and science, and critique of positivism or critique of scientific method. The question is sociology a science? Okay. So in the light of this, we will be dealing with various views. So to answer this, there are various views. Some are given by positivists, some by symbolic interactionists, some by phenomenologists, some by certain thinkers. Okay, so I will be dealing with each and every one in detail. Okay, so let's begin. First of all is the views of positivists. Okay, so positivists say yes, sociology is a science. Okay, they say yes, sociology is a science because just like natural science, sociology uses scientific method, or which is also known as inductive method. Okay, so they say that yes, sociology is a science. Why sociology is science? Because sociology uses scientific method, and the science, natural science itself, uses scientific method. So both use the same method. So sociology is a science. Okay. Second, they say that natural sciences use scientific method on natural matter, and in the similar manner sociology uses scientific method on our social matter, which is that is our beings human being. Okay, so which are all you I would suggest you to write social actor or social agent when you write, instead of writing individual in your answers, because the examiner will be giving you more marks if you write terms of sociology. Okay, so this is they say that the natural sciences they use scientific method on natural matter, and sociology uses scientific method on human beings. And they say that just like natural matter, human being a social actor also responds to external stimuli or external factors called social facts. So this is our first term, that is social facts, that we will be dealing with when we will study Durkheim. Okay, Emile Durkheim. So this is the term I will teach you later on. Okay, so right now you just remember that just like the positivist is that just like natural matter, it responds to an external stimuli. For example, what is external stimuli? For example, it is a law that when temperature increases 100 degrees Celsius, then water will boil. So whenever the temperature will increase 100 degrees Celsius, it is an external stimuli. Okay, so in response to this, in response to this, what water will do? Water is a natural matter. What water will do? It will boil. Okay, so in the similar manner, positivists say that whenever there will be a social fact by definition are external to individual. Okay, they are external to individual and put pressure on the individual. So they will give external stimuli to an individual, and the individual will respond respond to these in the similar manner, just like natural matter responds to external stimuli. For example, say there is a social fact or there is a law. Law is also a social fact that I will be dealing later on when I will explain Durkheim. Okay, so be patient. So say there is a law that whenever there is whenever there is a red light in traffic signal, you have to stop vehicles. So the positivists say, so the positivists say that the individuals they will respond by stopping their vehicles whenever they will see a red light, because this will create an external stimuli. Okay, so positivists, you can say that they say that just like natural matter, like water, it is passive. Passive means that it is not active. Whenever there is an external stimuli, water or natural matter cannot deny, okay, cannot say that I will not boil. Similarly, an individual, they say, positivists say that it will not deny the external stimuli or the social facts. They will obey these rules, these laws. So they accept, they say that there can be certain exceptions, and these exceptions they are called abnormal behavior. Abnormal behavior, and in order to correct these abnormal behavior, there are certain punishments. Okay, rules, laws, and justice system. There are punishments there is social pressure on the individual. So these abnormal behavior can be there, crime can be there, deviance can be there, but these are exceptions, these are not the norms themselves. Okay, this is what positivists have to say about sociology as a science. Certain other points are third point is that they say that objective reality exists. Objective reality exists in social world. Okay, objective reality exists in social world just like it exists in natural world. Okay, so what is this objective reality? I will briefly discuss here. Okay, I will be dealing with it briefly. So objective means something that is independent. Okay, that is independent of our opinions, our bias, our values, our stereotypes, our ideology, our prejudices. etc. So something that is independent, that does not depend, okay, on these factors, does not depend, or does not change, okay, on these factors. That this means that this there is something. If positivists say that objective reality exists, it means that there is something which exists beyond our opinions, beyond our bias. It has its own existence, its own existence, or you can say definition. So let me give some examples. For example, if there is something, say gender, okay, say gender. So or let me take the example of sex, okay, not gender, sex. So if I take 100 people belonging to different countries of the world, and I put a female in front of them, and I ask them what is the sex of this body, okay. So 100 of the 100, that means all the people they will say that it's a female. So it means it does not depend upon the opinion of the people. This being a female, that is your sex, is independent of the opinions of the people. Later on, in when I will be dealing with the views of Judith Butler and other postmodernists, I will prove there that sex is also a social construct, but that we will be dealing later on. So presently, I am just explaining the view of positivist. Okay, so you may not agree with this, but this is what positivists say, that all the 100 people will say that it's a female. Okay, because being female is defined, being female is independent. Our sex is independent of our thought, our opinion. Okay, so let me take in another example, which you will be able to make sense very clearly. Say terrorists. Now, positivists say, we all know that terrorism means different to different people, but positivists say that terrorism is an objective reality. It exists independent of our thoughts or bias. So, say a person has attacked in a mosque, okay, in New Zealand. So positivists say that all the people, if we will do research, all the people based on their research, they will say that yes, this is a terrorist attack. Okay, all the people, if it will be a terrorist attack, then they will say that it is a terrorist attack. There will be no different opinions on that. But we know that some people call this terrorist, some call this armed vigilante, or some say that it's an lone wolf. Okay, so we give different terms. Okay, but because terrorism means different to different people, but positivists say that no, if we will do research in a scientific method, we can find the objective reality. There will be an objective reality in objective sense. It will be either terrorism, or it will be either a lone wolf attack. It will be either a armed person. Okay, so it will be a person from certain gang. So that objective reality, what is the truth that can be found with the help of objective data, with the help of quantitative techniques, with the help of I will write it, with the help of quantitative techniques, or with the help of statistical data, we can find the truth that whether this is a terrorist attack or not. Okay, so they say that yes, objective reality exists, and we can find this objective reality with the help of with the objective reality exists in social world, and we can find it with statistical techniques. Okay, so they say that yes, objective reality exists, and we can find that objective reality with the help of objective techniques. Similarly, Durkheim, you know that Durkheim studied suicide, his suicide rates. So whether suicide rates are increasing in the society or decreasing, or whether they are more in Protestant or in Catholics, Durkheim said that independent of our thought, our opinions, our bias, we can find with the help of statistical techniques whether suicide rates increases with integration or decreases. So he says that that can be found independently. Okay, later on we will be dealing with this in today's videos itself. Okay, so this is what the positivists have to say. Okay, so fourth is let me explain this scientific method. Okay, scientific method. So here the positivists first the views of positivists is that they say that our goal, or the goal of sociology, is finding laws of human behavior. Laws of human behavior. Goal of sociology is finding laws of human behavior, just like natural science finds laws of nature. So they say that yes, our goal is same. Goal of sociology and the goal of science is same. So sociology is a science. Okay, they say that natural science will use scientific method to find laws of nature. Okay, similarly, sociology will use scientific method to find laws of human behavior. So, what is this scientific method? This is also known as inductive method. Okay, inductive method. So, let me explain this. I will already made a video on this, but here I will be briefly discussing it once again. So, positivists say that sociology uses inductive method or scientific method to find laws of human behavior, just like natural sciences. So it is a science. What is this inductive method? First of all, say there is a problem and we have to find that problem. So first of all, sociologist will identify the problem, that is identification of problem. Whatever problem you want to study, you identify that, say poverty, say crime, dowry practice, etc. That whatever you want to study. Second is you collect data, or take the example of suicide rates. Second, you collect data, just like Durkheim collected data on suicide rates from hospitals, from police station records, etc. Okay, and so you collect data about suicide rates or about poverty, whatever you are studying. Third is you search for correlation among variables. So what is this correlation? I have explained in that video which I made on science and sociology and scientific method. You can search that video on my channel and you can watch that in for detail. Okay, so I have explained there what is correlation. So correlation among variable. Then the next step is we check or we control spurious variables. Okay, then the next step is we form causation, or we can say we develop a hypothesis. What is hypothesis? In hypothesis we have certain independent factors, independent variables, and certain dependent variables. Okay, say for example Durkheim's hypothesis was division of labor produces solidarity. This was the hypothesis of Durkheim when he studied division of labor. So you form division of labor. In this there is independent variable, there is dependent. So here is solidarity is dependent, and division of labor is independent. So solidarity depends upon division of labor, or you form a causation, that is Division of labor causes solidarity. To solidarity is an effect, and division of labor is a cause. So cause effect relationship is called hypothesis. Okay. So next step will be testing the hypothesis. You test the hypothesis whether your hypothesis is right or wrong by checking your data. In from your data, you check whether your hypothesis is right or wrong, or you do experiments in lab. Okay, experiments in lab, or you use comparative method. These we will be dealing later on in later videos. So next step, if your hypothesis has proven to be true, okay, then you generalize it. Generalize it. Generalize mean you say that if it is true in this particular research, then it will be true for all other researches in all other localities. That is across space and time. Across space and time, it will be true. That is, if it is true in a research in India, it will be true all over the world. So you generalize it, it becomes a theory. And when this theory will be universally accepted, it becomes when universally accepted, it becomes a law. So sociologists say that using this method of inductive method, we find the law of human behavior. So this is method that natural science is also used. So sociologists say that yes, positivists say that yes, inductive method can be used by scientists, sociologists, just like scientists. So next is this is the view of positivists. Okay. So next is the view of uh, call or let me discuss symbolic interactionists. Symbolic interactionists. Okay. So they say their view is that sociology can be a science. Okay, sociology can be a science, uh, but it has to use method. It has to use methods other than scientific method also. Okay, so they say that yes, sociology can be a science, it can be a science, but right now it is also only using inductive method, that is scientific method. It must use other methods also in supplementation to the scientific method, so that it can be a science. Just using scientific method is not enough. Okay, so why scientific method? They say that scientific method is not sufficient or is not enough in sociology. So they say that natural sciences can use scientific method only, but sociology is altogether a different discipline, so it must use other methods also. This is their first point. Okay, so other methods also. Why they say that other methods? They have to use other methods. This I will explain here. So here are positivists. Here are symbolic interactionists. This is that we have to use other method also. Why? First, let me write their view. Positivists say that only scientific method is enough. They say other methods are also needed. Okay. So why? They say that social actor, social world, and social actor are similar to natural world and natural matter that I have explained. That is, human being is respond similarly to natural matter. Human being is also passive, just like natural matter. Okay, but these say that now human being, or you can say social actor oblique social world, are different from natural matter or natural worlds. Okay, they say that they are different. Why different? They say that they have consciousness. Human beings have consciousness. Human beings have feelings. What is consciousness? That human beings know they are being tested. They know that someone is testing them. They know that they have the feeling of I in them. Okay, they realize their existence. But natural matter has no consciousness. So if someone is testing water, if someone is testing that whether water will boil or not when temperature increases 100 degrees Celsius, so water will boil because water has no independent existence. It has no consciousness. So water cannot deny. Water cannot say that no, I will not boil because it has no free will. Okay, but human beings, they have consciousness, they have feelings, they have moods, they have free will, they can deny certain things. Okay, so they say that human beings are totally different. Okay, let me go to the next slide. They say that human beings are totally different from natural matter. Human beings are different. They say that human beings are social actors, also respond to internal stimuli. ठीक? Okay, internal stimuli, but natural matter only responds to external stimuli. Okay, natural matter only responds to external stimuli because it has no consciousness, but human beings have internal stimuli also. This is human, it is his mind, and in mind there are certain feelings, there are certain moods, there are certain motivations. He has bias, he has values, he has stereotypes. Okay, he has an ideology. So on the basis of this, he also takes an action. He does not just respond to external stimuli. So for example, if there is red light, so a human being or a driver is there, so he can take different steps. He can stop when there is red light in traffic. Okay, or he can just violate this law. Why? Because he may be getting late. Okay, he may be getting late to office, so he breaks that law. Okay, so because he has different he has different feelings, he has different moods. So at that time he may not be in the mood to follow the law, or he may be in a hurry because he has different needs. Okay, or he may interpret this red light in a different manner. Okay, how? Because he can interpret this red light as a bar. Okay, he can say that this red light, he can interpret it using his mind in a different manner. Okay, say there is certain person like PK who has come from different society. He does not know the rules, the social fact of this society, so he may interpret it in a different manner. Okay, he can say that this red light, he does not know what this red light means. Okay, because the rule that at red light you have to stop is known only to the people of this society and not to the other people, so other people may not follow it. So in this manner human beings are different. Similarly, there is another that when you test natural matter. Okay, when you are doing a test in lab on natural matter does not know that it is being tested. Okay, natural matter does not know that it is being tested, but they say symbolic interactions say that human beings are conscious, and so they know, human beings know that they are being tested, so they can change their view. They can change or hide their their true behavior. For example, Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect. So, what is this Hawthorne effect? Let me explain it here. Uh, Hawthorne effect. What is this Hawthorne effect? Hawthorne, there was a factory there, and sociologists did a research in this factory. In this factory, there were certain workers. Okay, so these workers, they were working in this factory. So sociologists wanted to study the behavior of these workers. Okay, they wanted to study the behavior of these workers, that how these workers behave. So what they did, they they changed, these researchers, they changed the lightning system in the factory, and they wanted to know that how, what impact this will have on the productivity of the workers. Okay, what impact this will have on the productivity of the workers. For example, they installed more lights. Okay, there was electricity for more hours. There was electricity for more hours. So they wanted to know the impact of this change in lightning system on the productivity of the worker. Okay, so they put these workers under test, and these workers knew that the sociologists are testing on them. So they made two groups. Okay, this I will explain what is control group and what is research group later on. Okay, just know, you just know that there are certain terms called control group and one is research group. Okay, so in this control group, they keep the lightning system as usual, and in it they increase the lightning system, or they increase electricity. So they found that yes, in this group the productivity was greater than this group. Okay, and they said that yes, this productivity is due to electricity, because we only changed, all other things were similar, we only changed electricity, we only changed the lightning system. So this productive increase in productivity is due to lightning system. But then again, they what they did, they once again they made the things similar. They they or you can say they uninstalled the new things that they installed. Okay, so now the control group and the research group were once again similar. There was no new lightning system, and then again they checked the productivity, and they found that the productivity of this research group was still greater than the productivity of the control group. So how can this happen? They found that the laborers, the workers, they knew that they are being tested by sociologists, but they did not knew that these are sociologists. They said that they thought that these are certain persons from the factory, sponsored by factory owners, to check whether these person are doing their work honestly or not. So they knew that they are being tested, so they worked more. So they worked more productively for more hours, and they found that this productivity increase in productivity was not due to just lightning system. It was also due to the fact that the laborers, they knew that they are being tested. So the laborers changed their behavior just because they knew that they are being tested. So in this way, we have not been able, or the sociologists have not been able to know the true nature, the true behavior of the labors. So they failed in finding the impact of the increasing lightning system on the labor. That is, they failed in finding the impact of an external stimuli on the behavior of an individual, because lightning increasing in lightning system is just an external stimuli. So in this place, if there had been natural matter, this would not have happened. Okay, so this is Hawthorne effect that you can write, or that is given as an example by the symbolic interactionist. So uh, one more difference is that symbolic interactionists say, one this is similarity between both. Positivists say that objective reality exists. Symbolic interactionists say yes, also objective reality exists, but they say that objective reality can be studied objectively. Objective reality can be studied objectively. Objectively means what is mean by objectively? That the researcher or the sociologist's personal bias. So whoever is the researcher, he will not be influenced by his ideology. He will be a neutral person. Okay, he is a neutral and an impartial person. That I will be dealing later on in more detail. Okay, so be patient. So they say that yes, objective reality can be studied objectively, but they say that yes, objective reality exists, but it cannot be studied, cannot be completely studied objectively. This is the difference. They say that yes, objective reality exists, but they say it has to be studied subjectively. So what is the difference? You can say that it says positivist says objective understanding. You can write this statement in exam. Objective understanding of objective reality. It means an objective reality is there, and you have to objectively understand it. But symbolic interactionist says subjective understanding of objective reality. That objective reality exists, but you have to understand it subjectively. Why subjectively? Because they say that cannot be completely objective. So this is the difference. They say researcher can be completely objective. Why objective? Because they say that the technology has, there is new technology nowadays. You can do sampling, random sampling, that can be free of your bias, and there is quantitative techniques. You can use quantitative techniques, and and social facts are like things. Social facts are, or you just write, there is no space for writing. Social facts are like things. So uh, objectivity can be maintained, but they say that no, a researcher cannot be completely free. Okay, so they that, for example, the choice of topic, the choice of topic, that what topic you are going to study, whether you will study poverty, whether you will study gender, whether you will study caste, whether you will study village, etc., depends on the background or the context or the values, background, context, bias, values, etc., of the sociologist. So the sociology very, so they say that the very choice of a topic of study or the very choice of the problem to be studied depends upon the sociologist's background or context or bias or value. For example, you know that in Indian sociologists, they were more interested in studying caste. Why didn't were not interested in studying class? But the Western sociology, they were more interested in studying class, because in India caste is more important, but in West class was most important. So the very choice of the topic of study is influenced by your context, is influenced by your society. So they say that now complete objectivity cannot be maintained. This is another difference. Another difference is that these positivists, they say that law of human behavior can be found, that is, generalization can be done, generalization can be done. These symbolic interactions, they also say the same, that laws of human behavior can be found and generalizations can be done, but but they say that but this generalization this generalization is not the ultimate truth. They will say that this generalization or these laws will be the ultimate truth, but they say that this is not the ultimate truth. It can be proven wrong anytime. Proven wrong any time. So we may be wrong. They say that symbolic interaction is that we may be wrong, but positivists say that no, ultimate truth can be found, and that cannot be wrong. Okay, so this is what symbolic interactionists have to say about sociology being a science. So one more point is that they say that subject matter subject matter of sociology is social fact. So sociology is a science because it studies social facts. Social facts are external to individual. They do not depend upon individual bias. External meaning that they are independent of individual bias opinion. But they say that subject matter of sociology is social action. We also have to study the means, the motives, or the mind of the social actor, because they say that social actor does not only respond to external stimuli, he also responds to internal stimuli that I already mentioned, and we have to study these internal stimuli also. So these internal stimuli, that is means, motives, mind, behavior, as feelings, etc. We have to study these also. These are the invisible things. Okay, these are the invisible things. The Auguste Comte was against this. Auguste Comte was a positivist. He was against this. He said that we cannot see, we cannot observe means, feelings, etc. And just because science, natural science, do not study what they cannot see. Similarly, sociology will not study what the sociologist cannot see. We cannot see feeling. We cannot see moods. We cannot see motivations. And so, with this, Comte said, we only study social facts that are visible. But symbolic interactionist said that now our goal is social action. Social action depends upon internal stimuli. Okay, so we have to study this thing. So that's why I already mentioned in the beginning that they said that we have to use other methods. So that's why they say that scientific method is not sufficient. This point I already mentioned in the beginning. So they said scientific method is not sufficient because it cannot be used to study this internal stimuli or to study the mind, motivation, etc. Okay, so we have to use other method, and that other methods are different for different sociologists. For example, Weber recommended Verstehen method. Verstehen, Verstehen. I have to write here. Verstehen method. Okay, so this is the view of symbolic interactionist. We will be dealing in detail more when we will be dealing with the topic positivism and its critique. In today's video, we are only discussing sociology as a science and critique of scientific method. Okay, so the video, I think this will be very long video. So be patient and watch it as per your time schedule. So next view is of Karl Popper. Karl Popper. This is very important. Okay, so Karl Popper says that he says that sociology can be a science. He also says that it can be a science if it will use hypothetical deductive method instead of inductive method. Okay, so he says that Yes, sociology can be a science, but only if it will use deductive method or hypothetical deductive method instead of inductive method. He says that inductive method is not required or is not sufficient. So how, what is the difference between both? Inductive method I already have explained. Now I will compare it with deductive method. Okay. So here is, we have inductive method and here we have deductive method. So what is the difference? This was given by positivists like Comte or Durkheim. It begins upward. It is from bottom to top. Okay, bottom to top. For example, you begin from data and you go for generalization. That is bigger thing. That is law. Okay. So this from bottom to top. You begin from micro level, that is collecting data, and then you go for generalization, that is making it a law. So another point is that in it we go for validation of hypothesis. That is, we form a hypothesis and then to we go to or check it whether it is true or not. We go for proving it right. Okay, but in deductive method this is different. Okay, this was given by I already explained Karl Popper. He says that we have to go from top to bottom. That is, we should begin from hypothesis. First of all, we should not collect data and then find correlation and find hypothesis. We just begin with hypothesis. This hypothesis can come from anywhere. Okay, you can form a hypothesis like Durkheim said division of labor produces solidarity, but he based his hypothesis on the basis of data. He collected data and then he said this. But you can make a hypothesis, okay, out of nowhere. You can make this hypothesis. It may come into your dream, or you can take it from other disciplines, like you can take the view of Aristotle or Plato in philosophy, or you can take the views of psychologists or economists, and you can form a hypothesis in social world. Okay, so it can be based on your ideology. It can come from the common sense knowledge also. Common sense knowledge also. Okay, so this is also use of common sense in sociology. So your hypothesis can come from anywhere. It can be, very unpredictable or very, simple. But what you have to do, then after forming a hypothesis, you should go for falsification instead of, this is the difference. Here we have to go for falsification instead of validation. In validation we try to, our goal is to prove our hypothesis right, but in falsification our goal, or the goal of researcher, is to prove his hypothesis wrong. Okay, so he will deliberately choose that data which can prove his hypothesis wrong. So if he succeeds in proving his hypothesis wrong, then it means that the hypothesis are wrong, he has to go for a new hypothesis. But if he cannot succeed in proving his hypothesis wrong, then it means that the hypothesis has become a law, but for the time being. Okay, that means it is refutable. This law is refutable. It can be refuted, it can be falsified anytime when new data will be found. So the scientists, they are the sociologists, must be open to criticism. They must be open to the fact that their law is not the ultimate truth. It can be proven wrong anytime. This is what Karl Popper has to say, and that is about deductive method. He says that sociology can be a science if it will use deductive method instead of the um, this inductive method. Okay, so here we have to go for falsification. One thing more about formation of hypothesis is, Karl Popper says that when you form hypothesis, or here I will write it using different color. Okay, because this is important point. Karl Popper says that any any statement that can be proven wrong, or that can be refuted, or that can be falsified is called scientific statement. So this is the definition of science itself. Okay, what is science? According to Karl Popper, anything that can be refuted, that can be proven wrong, that can be falsified is science. Okay, so if certain statement cannot be proven wrong or cannot be falsified, then it's not scientific. Okay, so for example, Marxist theory. Marxist theory, Karl Popper says, is pseudoscience. Why? Because it cannot be proven wrong. Because in order to prove something wrong, or in order to falsify, Karl Popper says, in order to prove certain statement wrong, that statement should be that statement should be precise, okay, predictable, and testable. So if you cannot test something, you cannot prove it wrong. If this is something is not very precise, very simple, very short, it will have subjectivity, you cannot prove it wrong. If certain thing is not predictable, then you cannot prove it wrong. Okay, so Karl Marx theories is not predictable. Okay, is not predictable. Why? In order to predict something, you need time. Okay, for example, Marxist says that revolution will come. Revolution is inevitable. That is, revolution must come in capitalism. But how can you prove this wrong? Why? Whenever you say that, okay, the revolution has not come, so Marxist will say, because capitalism has not matured. Okay, so whenever you question Marxist, that look, revolution has not come, Marxist will say that capitalism, when capitalism will mature, it will come. Okay, so what is mature? When capitalism will mature, there is no time, so you cannot prove this. Whole argument will goes on and on, you cannot prove it is wrong. So Marxist theory is a pseudoscience. Okay, in next, this is not complete, the video is getting longer. I have to discuss Thomas Kuhn's views. Okay, Thomas Kuhn's views, and the views of Steve Woolger, etc. So let me discuss that, and after that the video will end. Okay, and I will also explain realist views. Realist views. Okay, these three are remaining. So be patient. Let's begin with Thomas Kuhn's views. Okay. Mm, let's first begin with the view of Steve Woolger and Bruno Latour. Okay, Baruno, Bruno Latour. These were two people who did a research. Okay, these two people, they were researcher and they did a research. Okay, and in their research they did this research on scientists. They did a research on scientists, on working of scientists. Okay, and these people, they criticize the science, that is the natural science itself. They not only criticize, that is not only criticize sociology as a science, but also science itself. They criticize science itself. So they say that sociology is not a science and sociology needs not to be science. Okay, so let me write this. This is a beautiful statement, that sociology is not a science and it need not to be a science. Okay, why? Because they are against the science, against the working of the science itself, because they are against the working of the science itself. Why? These two people, these Latour and Woolger, they found that the scientists, whenever they do a research, they have certain preconceived notions, okay, about their own hypothesis. That is, they assume that their hypothesis is true. Okay, they already assume that their hypothesis is true, and then they collect data just to prove that their hypothesis is true. They already believe that their hypothesis is true, and then they collect data just to prove, just to validate their point that their hypothesis is true. So what's wrong in this? What's wrong in this? The wrong thing is that if you already believe that your hypothesis is true, then any exception, okay, any exception that will occur, you will consider it as an error. Okay, so they says that they have seen scientists working, and these scientists already believe that their hypothesis is true, and whenever their hypothesis is proven wrong, because whenever the data comes or to be different from whatever they predict in their hypothesis, whenever their hypothesis is being questioned, they say that this is error, this is error due to human, this is human error, or this is error in their machines, this is mechanical error. Okay, so they don't treat this error as a rejection of their theory. Okay, they don't reject their hypothesis based when they find an exception. They treat this exception as an error. They call these error as artifacts, that these are certain errors, these are unavoidable error, these are not rejection. So let me explain this beautiful view through a beautiful example that you will not find in many of the books. You will find in very rare books. Okay, so let me explain this. beautiful view in a beautiful manner. For example, for example, let us take a hypothesis. What is this hypothesis? All swans are all swans are black. Okay, so this is our hypothesis. All swans are black, and let us assume that a scientist has made this hypothesis, and now he will study this hypothesis. Now there are two conditions. Suppose that there are two scientists. Suppose this is a scientist, okay, who is not objective, okay, and most of the scientists work in this manner, okay, and there is a scientist who is objective. Now what should happen in an objective research, okay, uh, if the scientist is not objective, he will say that he has accepted. Let us assume that this scientist has accepted that all swans are black. This scientist already believes. This scientist number one, he already, this is scientist number two. Scientist number one already believes in this hypothesis that all swans are black, but scientist number two, he he does not believe, or he does not believe all scientists, all swans are black. He is open to test. That is, he will find whether, if he will find that all swans are black, then he will accept it, and if he will find a white swan, he will say that no, all swans are not black. But this scientist, he already believes in it, okay. So let us take that an example, that suppose this scientist, he finds a white swan. All swans are black. Not, let us take this as white, because most of the time they are white. Okay, so he believes that are all white, and suppose he finds a black. What happens? Sorry. So let us assume that he finds a black swan. Okay, let us assume that this scientist finds a black swan. So what he will do, since he already believes that all swans are white, he already believes in it. So whenever he will find a black swan, what he will say, he will say that since all swans are white, so this is not a swan. So this is what happens with scientists. They say that this is not a rejection, because this is clearly a rejection of the theory that all swans are white. But this already believes that all swans are white. So when they find a black swan, they say that since all swans are white, so this is not a swan. This is black, so this is not a swan. Because they have already believed that swans can only be white. But if this scientist will find a black swan, he will say, okay, I am wrong. I am wrong. My hypothesis is wrong. All swans, all swans are not white. Okay, all swans are not white. Swans can be black also. So this Steve Woolger and Bruno Latour, they say that most of the scientists, most scientists, they are of this type, are of this type. Why scientists are this type? Because scientists are human beings. Scientists are human beings, and these scientists, so they don't want their uh, research of many years, the research of many years to be proven wrong. So these scientists, they do not want the research of many years they have invested in this research. They have invested funds in this research. So they don't want it to be fail. They don't want their funds to be wasted. So they prove it wrong. They say that there are errors. Okay, so there are mechanical errors. Overall, they prove their hypothesis true. This is the view of this Steve Woolger and Bruno Latour. They say that science itself is not scientific. A similar view is being put forward by Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. Okay, so Thomas Kuhn, he says that scientists are human beings. Scientists are also human beings. Okay, and they work under a paradigm. Okay, this is an important term, paradigm. Okay, so what is this? What is a paradigm? Look, the video will be very long, but I cannot do anything because I have to explain each and everything. So what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a frame of view. Okay, or it is a kind of world view about your world, that how you see your world. Okay, for example, Newtonian view. Newtonian view of world. Okay, world oblique or gravitation. Okay, so he says that all the scientists, they have a paradigm and they work under this paradigm. Okay, they work under this paradigm. They accept this paradigm. They have no proof, but they accept or assume this paradigm as true. Okay, so this is like the all swans are white. This is example. All swans are white, like things. All swans are white. Okay, this is like that statement. They accept this paradigm to be true, and whenever they work under it, so they form new laws. Okay, or theories under it. Okay, they choose new research topics, keeping this paradigm to be true. Example, Newton's law of gravitation. So they, whenever they will do a research, they will accept this Newton's law of gravitation. They will not uh, be criticizing this Newton law of gravitation. So any theory, any hypothesis that is against this Newton's law of gravitation, that will be already proven, disproven. Okay, that will already be considered as a very simplistic theory, or a theory that will be immediately rejected. Okay, they will not consider it to be worthy of being researched. Okay, so he says that this paradigm, it is all the scientists will work under it. They will universally accept this paradigm. Okay, but he says that revolution scientific revolution or occur scientific revolutions occur, and these paradigms change. Okay, so when scientific revolution will occur, just like in social, there is just like French Revolution, American Revolution, they occur in history. Similarly, he says in the history of science, scientific revolutions occur, and in this scientific revolution, these paradigms change. An example is Newtonian paradigm. Okay, this was changed by Einsteinian paradigm. Okay, so here uh, gravity was considered as a force of attraction. Gravity was considered force of attraction. So here gravity is considered as a force of imposition, or a force of, a pushing force. Pushing force, not in attraction, but a pushing force. So now, the over the period of time, how this revolution come, many scientists new scientists who are of this type, these scientists who are of uh, this second type scientist will come over time, and they will start challenging this Newtonian paradigm, or the already accepted paradigm. And over the period of time, a new paradigm will emerge. Okay, and this all the scientists will start working under this new paradigm. Okay, so they will not have the proof of this new paradigm, but they will once again start assuming it as true, just like the statement of all swans are white. Okay, and so this is the theory of Thomas Kuhn. So Thomas Kuhn says that mm, science itself is not scientific, not scientific, not scientific. Okay, another example of this paradigm is climate change. Okay, climate change. For example, in 1950s, the scientists, climate scientists, or climatologists did not believe climate change. Okay, they did not believe did not believe that fossil fuels leads to climate change. But now this has been questioned since 1980s. After 1980s onwards, okay, scientists are working under a new paradigm. Okay, the new paradigm, there is a new paradigm in this area, that fossil fossil fuels leads to climate change. Now, all the new researches that are being done, they consider this very basic fact as fossil fuels leads to climate change. In 1950, this was not an accepted paradigm, but now this is the paradigm. So the paradigm has changed. It means that science itself is not scientific. The scientists are just like human beings. The natural sciences are just like social sciences. So the natural sciences are not worthy. The science has nothing good in itself. It is not the ultimate truth. Science is refutable. Okay, so this is the view of Karl Popper. And moreover, this, and then the last but not the least are the realists. The realists, they say they say that that there are different types of sciences. Okay, there are different types of sciences, natural sciences, or sciences. In I will take the example of one such realistic that you can write in exam. His name was Saif. Okay, so he says that there are two types. There are two types of sciences. One is open system sciences, and second is closed system sciences. So these open system sciences, example is meteorology meteorology. Okay, this is example. And this closed system sciences like math, chemistry, physics. So what is the difference between both? The open system sciences, we have a number of variables, or you can say number of factors influencing our research topic. So in closed system we have limited variables. We have limited variables. For example, in meteorology we study rainfall. So this number, or we study weather. So this weather system is influenced by a number of factors, influenced by number of factors. Some of these factors can be invisible. Some of these factors can be invisible, like the effect of this Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so the Earth's magnetic field can also influence weather. There are number of variables influencing weather. Monsoon also affect weather. Okay, temperature, humidity. There are number of factors, and these factors we cannot control. We but means in environment we cannot always control humidity, temperature, or magnetic field, or many other factors like cyclones. These things. Okay, cyclones. So we are not able to control all these factors, but still we consider this metrology as a science. So but in closed system sciences we have limited variables. We can we can do research in lab. We can control factor. We can control all factors, all variables. Okay, so here our research will be 100% true. Okay, but here the research will not be 100% true, but still we consider it as a science. Still consider it as a science. Okay, so he says that Sawyer says that sociology sociology is not a closed system science, but a but an open system science. Okay, so this you have to write in your answer only this view, only this much. But I have explained in detail so that you don't forget. Okay, so this was our today's topic, that we discussed two topic: critique of scientific method. If this question come, you have to write all this. And if the question comes on uh, sociology and science, sociology and science, so you have to write all this. One thing I think that I have not discussed in this video. Let me discuss that also. I think that I have forgot to discuss that. That was the view of phenomenologists. I think I have not discussed this. Phenomenologists. So phenomenologists, they say that objective reality does not exist. Objective reality does not exist. Okay, second, they say all reality is socially constructed. Socially constructed means subjective. That is, all reality is subjective, nothing is objective. So third is, they say, the statement that I often write is that subjective, their premise is subjective understanding of subjective reality. Okay, so positivist said objective understanding of objective reality. Symbolic interactionist said subjective understanding of objective reality, and they are saying that subjective understanding of subjective reality. That is, reality is subjective, and we have to understand it subjectively. That is, we have to use qualitative methods. Okay, qualitative methods. Fourth point is, look, I am already, because the video is already has gone very long, so I'm already I'm only I'm throwing the terms. but I will explain, as I already mentioned in the beginning of this video, that I will explain all these terms in later videos when I will discuss positivism and its criticism. I will be dealing with phenomenology in detail. Okay, right now I am just throwing certain terms for you to write. Okay, so this is subjective understanding of subjective reality. Next is this is laws of human behavior can never be found. This is also a difference because both symbolic interactionist and positivists say that laws of human behavior can be found, but they say phenomenologists say they can never be found because there is no objective reality. So laws of nature, laws of human behavior can never be found, and generalization cannot be done. Okay. So this is their view. In next video, I when I will deal with positivism and criticism, I will explain phenomenology in detail. There I will be giving examples. Right now I am just giving you one example that I already mentioned, so that it becomes easy for you. For example, the example of terrorists. So there is no definition, there is no objective definition of terrorism according to phenomenologists. But for positivists, there can be an objective definition of terrorism. So they say that different people will have different concepts of of what of one thing. Sorry, just wait for 1 second. Just wait for 1 second more. Okay, so here is this is that this concept of what terrorism is, different people will have different concept of what terrorism is. So for example, an example is of some people can say that this Bhagat Singh, some people say, for example, the English, they said that Bhagat Singh is a terrorist. Okay, Indian said that he was a freedom fighter. Okay, so who we are supposed to believe? Different people have different concept of what terrorism is. Similarly, it happens in Kashmir also. Okay, Kashmiris say that they say that they are militants. The Kashmiri people, the arms carrier. Okay, the rebels people, they are militants. Okay, Kashmiri says they are militants, but Indian government says that they are terrorists. Okay, so global perspective, uh, in global certain countries, there are certain Muslim countries, they say that they are jihadis. Not Muslim countries, they say that they are doing religious jihad. Also they are mujahideen. Okay, mujahideen. Western countries, they are saying they are jihadis. So there are different views of different people about a reality. So phenomenologist will say that based on your context, based on your bias, you give different definitions to one reality. So every reality is subjective. Similarly, I mentioned that I will explain sex, gender, etc. as socially constructed, and that I will do, and suicide as socially constructed, that I will do in my video on positivism and its critique. So this is a very long video, and I think that you will have a lot of doubts. So please ask them if you have any doubts in my Telegram group or in this video's comment section. Thank you very much.